All right, Trap, directed by M. Night Shyamalan, starring Josh Hartnett. If you've seen the trailer, very good trailer, but whole concept is it's a serial killer getting trapped at a concert.
Oh no, it's like Taylor Swift's concert, but it's M. Night Shyamalan's daughter.
Yeah, it is. And he's trapped there. He's like, oh, I got to escape. The police are here.
Yeah, he's like, well, my daughter got good grades, so I'm gonna bring her to this concert.
Yeah,
Taylor Swift the Eras Tour, essentially.
Yeah,
everybody's going crazy, and I get there. And my daughter's all excited, but oh, wait a second. Why are there so many police around? Why are there SWAT?
Things?
What's going on? Let me ask some people what's going on. It turns out they're trying to catch this serial killer known as the Butcher. Mm-hmm. Not the one from The Boys.
No.
But a serial killer version.
Yes.
Who is not portrayed as the good guy, as one of the good guys.
No. Anti-hero, I would say. Because he's
not even anti.
Well, I don't know. He's the protagonist.
He's the protagonist,
but he's not a good guy. Obviously,
protagonist. But yeah. So he's like, well, now crap. They're trying to catch me in this trap.
Yeah,
and I need to find a way to wiggle my way out of this mess. Holden, what are your overall thoughts?
I liked this movie, Jimmy. I don't know if you liked it, but I had a good time with this, and I recognize there are a lot of issues with this. A lot of really dumb things in this, but I think this is probably my favorite M. Night movie in quite a while.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, at least since Split.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen Split.
I think since Split.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think I like it more than Old. I certainly like it better than Knock at the Cabin, a movie I completely forgot about. I was like,
and
what
Glass.
Glass is not great. But I was like, what? I'm like, M. Night Shyamalan's made a movie since Old. What the heck is it? And I was just racking my brain to figure it out. And I'm like, oh, Knock at the Cabin, a movie that I think is just not good. This was dumb, but fun.
It's kind of like
it's
Old
silly
in that it's a very cool concept.
Mid-sized sedan.
Mid-sized sedan.
One of the characters in Old.
It's an interesting concept, but this, I think what works more about it for me is I think it leans way hard into the camp. I think the camp elements of this really helped me forgive a lot of the more nitpicky issues I would have normally with it. Because I think the movie is to a certain extent self-aware of itself, which I enjoy.
Self-aware of itself.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Redundant.
Yeah. This movie's very campy. If you're going to this movie thinking it's going to be airtight, no conveniences, the characters are really smart. They're very logical, very realistic in terms of what's going to happen. This is not the movie for you. This is a goofy movie, not the goofy, a goofy movie, but
or an extremely goofy movie.
But it is a silly movie with just wild things that happen, and it's funny. It's just a funny movie to watch, it's a fun time because it's so campy. And I think if you go in with that expectation, you'll have fun with it.
Yeah. And I think a good part of the enjoyment is Josh Hartnett as the lead. I think he's great. I think he absolutely knows what movie he's in because I think
he is overacting perfectly.
He is overacting. It's like if you were to go into this and you're like expecting just like a serious thriller or whatever, which I do not think this movie, at least within itself, puts forward at all. You'd have Josh Hartnett in these conversations with people where he looks so suspicious. His facial movements and everything. It's like, a regular person would look at this guy and be like, this guy's very suspicious. Yes. What is this guy doing? But in the context of this silly campy movie, I think it completely works because us as the audience, we're kind of we get a little bit satisfaction from seeing him evade things, but we also get a little chuckle out of the moments too. I think his performance completely works.
Yes, and I will say, I don't blame people for going to this thinking it is going to be a thriller.
Yeah,
I don't know whether M. Night was trying to be serious with it. Honestly, at this point, I don't know.
I think
what his intent and what it is two completely different things.
To me, this movie feels more explicitly like campy than because like you have something like Old, where I think you can make the argument that Old is also very funny, but
that takes itself very seriously.
I feel like this one, granted, we won't know unless he says something about it, but this one feels like he is more aware of that element of
I
his
am
stuff.
not sure. I'm not sure because he does do very like specific filmmaking things. Which I can see why. Like a lot of the conversations, like the camera is centered.
Oh yeah,
frame on, and
a lot of that.
Which I think the purpose of that, and I think it's a creative purpose, and I think it's effective, is to really make you see through the lens of this psychopath. Like he is performing for these people, and he is seeing them as like vehicles of information rather than human beings. And I think that the way that it's told there is effective and works, and his like very wooden, over the top, performative dialogue enhances that. Granted, those are all things M. Night Shyamalan is naturally known for.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know if he was trying to really like seriously, I'm going to make this thriller. This book was super entertaining. He was like, this is going to be serious. I don't know if he was aware of that camp.
Well,
but it certainly works from a campy standpoint.
No, yeah, and you are right, because I do think like one of the things that this ties into with his other movies is like his dialogue, which I always think back to, like, I remember we talked about this with Old, and I don't remember it being as much of a thing in Knock at the Cabin, but he has like a very, I don't know how to describe his like writing style, at least in his modern movies. It's been a while since I've seen his older stuff, but it doesn't feel very natural in a lot of ways. In this movie, I think it like works because I think it
because he's a psychopath.
Yeah,
he's performing.
Yeah, exactly. And
he wouldn't talk normally.
Yeah. And so I think it works here, but
But it's like, is he trying to do that?
Yeah, is that an element of the performance that it's intentional here? Because it seems very reminiscent of other movies he's made. I don't know. Yeah, but regardless, I mean, I thought the dialogue in general worked more in this movie for me just because of the tone.
Yeah,
whether intentional or not.
Yeah.
So.
I think the best part of any M. Night Shyamalan movie is forgetting that he makes a cameo in all of his movies and then seeing the cameo. Hilarious cameo in this one for me. I was laughing. Extended.
Extended. I feel like his cameos progressively get longer. Like as you go.
I love that. I forget about it almost every time I see one of his movies because I just was giggling when he appeared on screen.
And I don't know. And you know what? I'll say I feel like he's kind of a mixed bag in most of his movies. I feel like he actually like his small performance in this is actually like good.
Is he like a news anchor in Knock at the Cabin cameo?
Something
I cannot
like
remember.
Yeah, I think he's like an anchor.
He's like the driver or something. A driver.
Yes, he's the driver, and he keeps showing up in that movie.
That's right. That's right.
He shows up like 3 or 4 times, I think.
But yeah. I love that. That's so funny. And he's so having so much fun too.
He is, yeah. No, I mean, I love his cameos. I think in general they're great, hilarious. So I do want to say his daughter, or no, is it his niece or is it his daughter?
I believe it's his daughter, the who plays
Salika.
Lady Raven.
Yes.
But you can verify.
Yeah, daughter.
Okay.
Yeah, no. So without spoiling it too much, she's in the movie more than I was expecting going into it.
Yeah.
I thought her performance was like fine for the most part, but I actually thought her like music was pretty good.
I thought. I didn't know it was M. Night Shyamalan's daughter until afterwards. I thought she was pretty good. I thought she was very believable in the role. I thought the music was pretty good and believable. I didn't know if it was like.
The music,
the
issue. So apparently she's like done some music for other of like the family projects,
and she's not the same daughter who directed The Watchers.
No.
That's a different.
Although she did a song for The Watchers, I think.
Okay.
So yeah, she's a different daughter.
This is like Boss Baby 2, the family business.
Yeah. So I think it's easier to go into this knowing that it's. I think he even said in an interview for this movie that this started as like. He wanted to make a movie with his daughter as like a focus in it. So it's, nepotism, whatever, you can say what you want. But I think like her music is actually pretty good. And I
Yeah.
think it's really easy for a movie like this that would be at a concert to just have like bland, terrible pop music. Like just not like, why would anyone actually listen? Why would this crowd of people be here for this? But I could believe that there'd be a lot of fans for this artist in this world. So
a lot of screaming girls.
Yes.
I'll tell you that.
Absolutely.
Lots of them. Yeah, no, there's good humor throughout, like intentional humor, maybe unintentional humor. I don't know, but funny, good stuff. Certainly entertaining. Structured very unexpectedly, I would say, without saying anything. It is well, I guess I won't say anything. I'll talk about in spoilers in terms of some of the more structural things. But yeah, no, I just thought it was a good campy time, as long as you're going in not expecting a serious airtight thriller about capturing a serial killer.
I think like if you go in expecting an M. Night Shyamalan movie, I think you're gonna get that, because I think like
a silly one.
Yeah, one of the sillier ones, because I don't like. Knowing M. Night Shyamalan was attached to this, I wasn't even necessarily expecting it to be like a full serious thriller setup, concert or anything.
I wasn't expecting it either. But I could see someone seeing the trailer and thinking that. And I think
especially if you're not
who
familiar with him or even know that he's attached. Yeah.
I think those are the people who are not enjoying this movie, would be my guess.
Yes, I would say so too.
So go in, have a good time. Before we dive into our spoiler-filled discussion, which we'll get to in a second, Holden, would you like to give your rating?
Yeah, I'm like torn. I feel like the more I think about this, the more I like it, honestly. Flaws and all. So I'm like between a 7.5 and an 8.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
No way. Unbelievable.
I liked this movie a lot.
That is unexpected. That is the biggest M. Night twist that there could ever be. A 7.5 or an 8 for Trap.
I'll go 7.5. Let's go 7.5. I'll be a little bit more reserved. But
absolutely bonk. That is, Holden is a hard grader too. Like, average Holden is 5.
Yeah. I always say at 5 is like very middle of the road. Like I don't usually have much good or bad to say about it.
What did you give Deadpool and Wolverine? A 5.5?
Yeah, I did.
Unbelievable. This guy literally gave Trap 2 points higher than Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yes,
that's out of his mouth. I'm separating myself
I stand
that.
by that.
I do not agree with that opinion. I am making that abundantly clear. And I have my qualms with Deadpool and Wolverine, but not to that extent. Holy smokes.
I want to reiterate that I think this movie has a lot of issues that I think I'll still bring up in spoilers, because I think most of them are spoiler related. But I am also able to just look past a lot of them for my enjoyment with this movie.
Yes.
So
it has not a higher entertainment value than Deadpool and Wolverine. That movie is a blast, but it has a good entertainment value.
It does.
So, wow, I did not see that coming. How much is M. Night paying you, man?
None at all.
All right, well, let's dive into our spoiler-filled discussion right after this.
All right, spoilers for Trap.
Yeah, a real crispy movie, Holden.
Yeah.
See how it is?
Yeah, I see what you did there. So I wanted to mention that.
Does anybody say I've never heard crispy.
That is not a thing.
That is made up.
I cannot. So I mean, obviously we're not in high school or anything.
I teach middle school.
Yes, so you at least would probably hear it once or twice.
And I have W Riz. So
you do have W-Riz. Skibbity, quite frankly.
Yeah. Thank you, Holden. Now that everybody's clicked away, we can talk. We can really dive into our feelings.
Yeah, no, and I feel like there is. I remember The Visit. Did you ever see The Visit?
I've never seen The Visit.
Okay,
no.
I remember.
So don't spoil it.
I won't spoil it, but I remember The Visit. And I think old to a certain extent, having similar, like Shyamalan seems to be obsessed with just like making up young people things. Like I don't like these like trends. I don't, because I remember The Visit had it and it was pretty egregious in that movie. Old, I remember having it to a lesser extent, but then here you also have crispy, like, well, no one says, what does that mean? Crispy?
Is that extra fried?
Yeah. When you said that, I was like, yeah, that's funny. That would make sense.
I think when he wanted to go down in the trapdoor under the stage, she should have said, Dad, no, that's pretty skibbity.
No, you don't. No, Dad, you don't want to seem like you're from Ohio.
Yeah.
God, you need to stop.
Yes.
Yeah, so really only about half of this movie is at the concert.
Tell you what, Holden, horrible movie to have to go pee in because I had to pee for the entire second half of this movie. And what I didn't want to say spoiler or non-spoiler wise is that this is a movie where you think it's going to end like four different times.
Yeah.
And as someone who needs to go pee, excruciating.
Well, so yeah, so
it did tamper my enjoyment of the second half of the movie a little bit. I was over to oversee a lot of it. Still had fun, but it did feel like maybe one too many escapes.
Fake out things. Yeah. I maybe I should have mentioned this in non-spoilers because saying this isn't necessarily a spoiler, but the pacing itself is kind of just like an issue. It's very weird because, the first half of the movie or however long the actual concert has happened, and that was very entertaining. I think that's easily the best part of the movie is everything that happens there, for me at least.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad that you're allowing. Okay, I'm not a huge concert person. I've been to like a couple live concerts, not a long time. Do people just go and walk around the concession area during
No,
that does not happen,
really.
right? I was like, why are so many people just walking around? Are there intermissions in some of these concerts like this? Like for states, I don't know, like Taylor Swift, did she have like parts where it was like, okay, I'm taking a break, need to reset? I would imagine like you maybe need like in a performance like that, you would need to catch your break.
Yeah,
catch your breath.
like for really, I guess I've never really been to a concert like on that scale. Like maybe your Taylor Swifts, your Billie Eilish's. I don't know. Maybe when they're really big, they have these big concerts. I know the Eras Tour concerts were like 3 hours.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there was an intermission there. And that's probably what this was like skating by on logically, I would say, is our concerts like that. Concerts I've been to, I mean, even like the biggest ones I've been to don't really have that. I mean, they have like an opener and then they'll sometimes have like a 20-30 minute break in between opener and an actual like headliner, but it's not usually during the performance.
I like how when he was like, "Oh, I have to go to the bathroom. Do you want to go wait outside the men's room or stay in your seat?" I'm like, "You stay in my seat." Oh, you promise you won't go in here? Where's she gonna go?
Yeah.
Like, why would she?
Why would she leave their awesome seats they have?
Seriously. The friends are there. I like the little temper tantrum that the friend throws when she's the dreamer girl.
Oh yeah, that was great.
Oh, she's like splashing her drink everywhere.
And so I feel like there's certain parts throughout the whole movie that you can poke holes in, like especially at this concert. Like he's just like teleporting around this concert. How is he getting around? This is a huge venue. He is just consistently, wherever he needs to be.
Good thing they're on like the end of the seats.
Yeah.
Seriously. Otherwise, people would be so annoyed with him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's funny just how often he leaves. Like the daughter points it out. Like
you're acting times. Weird, Dad.
Yeah, but he's just just keeps going. I like and you know what actually did kind of surprise me.
There's a fly. Holden's distracted. It's the Fly episode again, directed by Ryan Johnson.
No, there was like the moment where he's like, "I'm not leaving your side again." I'm like, okay, how is he going to do this? And then he actually doesn't really, because then that's at the moment where like he talks to M. Night Shyamalan and everything, and I was like, okay, and that was
my daughter has leukemia.
Yeah. That was me thinking that the whole movie was going to be set at this concert, so I was very confused how that was going to work. But yeah, it still was very funny how often he left, and he kept running into the mom of the other.
Yeah,
which was also just didn't make any sense. Like it's a huge concert. There's so many people there. There's so many people in these hallways for some reason all the time.
What is everybody doing?
They just don't care about the show, I guess.
One little moment I liked is when they were waiting outside before the concert at the buses, and like people would come out and it wouldn't be Lady Raven, and they're like, "Boo!"
Oh yeah, that is very concert-esque because it's like that's something that like in between opener and headliner, you'll have someone come on stage to like adjust the mic or something, and people will do that exact same thing. I was like, okay, that's funny.
How does someone like Taylor Swift leave?
I don't know.
Seriously, like
insane.
There's got to be nut jobs that like wait.
Yeah,
they have to have like decoys and just security. It's just like gonna be like a whole like squadron of cars. Security, and absolutely. I cannot imagine.
Seems
that
like a
sounds
nightmare.
awful. Good thing we'll never be that famous.
Yeah.
Holden.
Thank goodness. Yeah, so
Like and subscribe.
a lot of this first half of this movie is very Hitman-esque.
Very, yes. Yeah.
yeah.
I'd heard that too. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because
Which is a very apt comparison.
yeah, and I heard that
Hitman in terms of the video games, the most recent Glenn Powell Netflix
yes,
movie.
yeah, that's an important distinction. But yeah, no, I mean, they were showing that in the trailer. People were saying that in the movie. I would agree that it still feels that way. I mean, he goes around, just like picks up items, adds them to his inventory.
Overhears conversations with
like
important information. You can't get out of here unless you get backstage. That's the only way out without security.
And that's another that just adds to the movie that I think that, if you watch this movie through a lens like that, you can just like forgive a lot of those really stupid things.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it's hilarious like that. So.
Again, I'm not sure how intentional M. Night Shyamalan
Yeah,
is.
no, I mean, I don't think M. Night played a hitman and was like...
Oh, no, not in that regard, but like... I'm wondering if M. Night thinks he really made a smart movie or if he just is like, this is a campy, silly movie.
I do want to mention that I think something a little deeper that works in this movie is I think there are some parallels. I don't think it works 100% where you can like, I think this is somewhat self-reflective on M. Night as a dad.
Because he kills a lot
No, and that's why I'm not saying he like connects himself entirely, but there is a large focus on the butcher's relationship with his daughter in this movie. Mm-hmm. And like even towards the end of the movie when he's found out and everything, he still seemingly does have a lot of concern for like his daughter at the very least and everything. And so I think there's some parts of M. Night that is like writing bits of him in here that's like, did I mess up my kids by being, like this filmmaker that's kind of big and well known, and did I not give them a normal childhood and everything? Yeah. And I think having his daughter in the movie itself, I think furthers the connection too. Yeah. There's that a little father connection. So
it's an interesting point, Holden.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to bring up. So there's a whole sub thread in this movie about like profiling and criminal. Are there any serial killers that are actually like family men?
I don't know.
I cannot think of one off the top of my head.
Yeah, I do have like the really famous ones.
Ted Bundy, Jeffrey Dahmer, Ed Kemper. Like, I cannot think of one that is comparable. And I just think that's funny and let me know, please do, if I'm not right. There's
probably some examples.
I think it would be hilarious if like BTK, is he a family man?
I feel like he was like,
maybe?
he was like,
did he have a family?
Had a family maybe?
BTK killer. Did he's got a spouse and children, so maybe BTK.
Okay.
All right. Maybe.
And I'm sure there's some other examples too, but yeah, it seems like all the really famous ones are like loners.
Most of them. So, but yeah, no, you have this kind of awkward scene when Lady Raven like pretends to be his mom.
Yeah.
And then it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Well, I think that's like funny because the only reason that scene is there is for like the end when he actually gets caught.
Yeah.
And the FBI profiler using what she knows about him against him.
I don't think you needed that scene with Lady Raven. It was kind of weird.
Because I think
especially
it was like,
since it doesn't work.
Because I mean, there was already buildup where I think the profiler over the walkie-talkies a couple times mentions he has like
mommy issues
essentially. So like, I feel like, you could have done one or the other, but you didn't really need both, but it's fine. It's whatever.
Yeah. And just going through this movie, you got the scene with the stadium worker.
Yeah.
Who is like doing the merch.
Like
She's like, just good to see families with good values like you guys.
That guy was great. Good just little appearance by this guy. I love that.
Nice little mid-credit scene.
Yes.
Too.
It's very funny.
I helped him. He was having a good time. They have like a nice little moment with the box cutter. Funny.
Yeah.
Funny stuff.
Yeah.
Intense? No. Funny? Yes.
No, that actually reminds me.
Hold on to this.
this movie has so many just like Chekhov's guns in it, like especially at that concert, like
so many fake outs.
Yeah, so many fake outs, so many like things that actually do play into it. But there's so many bits where like the camera will just focus on a little item, and I'm like, all right, that's probably something. And lots of times it was, but it was just very silly.
Did you see this movie individually?
Yes,
I did too. I do think it's a movie that would be great to see with a bunch of people.
Yes,
friends.
especially if you all have this mindset that we kind of have.
To just be like, this is silly.
Yeah.
And what are you doing? Like, what person thinks like this?
Yeah, if
it's a good time.
Yeah, if you're stuck on the logistics, that's really where you get hung up on.
Yeah, if you're like, we're gonna analyze this movie and learn about like serial killers, then no, not so much. But if you're like, I want to watch something stupid.
Yeah.
7.5 out of 10 right here.
Absolutely. I stand by that.
You're insane. I love it when he just pushes that one drunk lady down the stairs. Like she's drunk and then she's okay. And then he just pushes her. It's not like she's drunk and it is so obvious that he just pushed this lady down the stairs.
It's so obvious and it's really unnecessary too.
He just goes really down. And then he's like, oh, there's police at the door. Like, why did you need to shove this lady down the stairs?
Yeah, I guess like the idea is just so he can go like look outside without looking suspicious as to how he looks outside, because there are those guards at the bottom of the stairs. But still, it's like, yeah, you didn't really need to do that, dude. That's pretty funny.
You have when he puts it's in the trailer, but when he puts the oil in the deep fryers, and then it blows up. Poor lady getting scarred and all that. But then he does that just to get an apron to look more official.
Goes up on the roof.
Yeah.
Incredibly suspicious being up on the roof.
I'm like, clearly there are going to be people there. Like, what are you going to do on the roof? You're going to be, there was an accident in the kitchen.
I'm so scarred.
Overwhelmed. Like, that guy's not going to be flagged. You're not going to be like, you know what, sir, I'm going to pull you to the side and maybe ask you a few more questions. He acts so abnormal for someone to just should be wanting to blend in. That's the funny part.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I think I think he's just I don't know. The way he acts, like it is this weird balance of like a serial killer obviously trying to blend in. I don't know. I don't really know how to explain it. I guess we kind of talked about it in non-spoilers, but it's so good. Just works.
I love that when he just is walking through the SWAT team meeting, just picking up all that exposition. Yeah. Nobody's like raising any questions about this guy. Then he's like, I got to get the coffee, Just throws it away.
And
nice touch.
They just keep talking to it like while he's there.
Yeah. Where do you guys keep the sugar or the cream or whatever? Oh, Janet was supposed to refill it.
He gets the code word from who's he? He gets
the one T-shirt guy.
Oh, he gets it from the T-shirt guy.
Hamilton. There we go.
Yes.
Didn't I make a Hamilton reference?
You did make a Hamilton reference.
Outgunned, Outman. Was that the other?
Yeah, that was
House of the Dragon.
Yes.
Yeah, it's blurring together for me, this podcast.
But yeah, I guess we haven't really talked about too like in depth just that half of the movie is them leaving. I guess before then, like he gets daughter up on stage for the Dreamer Girl song.
M. Night Shyamalan is her uncle.
Yes,
that's maybe where you get.
That's probably where I got it from.
And yes, and she has leukemia, but don't say anything about it because she doesn't want to make a big deal out of it.
Yeah, and I liked that. I thought that was kind of clever. It was bold of the character to put him up front and center like that, but maybe the police wouldn't think of him doing that kind of thing. Whatever. But yeah, I thought that was a very fun sequence, and then he goes backstage, and honestly, the whole bit where he like reveals himself to Lady Raven, I was like, oh, all right, wow. Cool,
yeah.
Jeez, it's going this way this fast, huh? And
so carbon monoxide, your body craves it even though it kills you. Like what?
What are you talking about?
Oh, I'm the butcher. I think you've been looking for me. I'm gonna kill this guy on my phone. See this app? It's really good. It's 5 stars on the App Store. Honestly, it's got in-app purchases, but totally worth it. I mean, you can kill anybody remotely with this.
I thought that was just like her like realizing that he's not like joking around, and like that whole scene was just great. And then his plan, made sense. I guess like you're stuck in like the worst position possible. He's seeing there is really no way out of here.
Except couldn't he just been like, hey, could you give us a ride over here and make maybe she would say no, but at least give her a chance. And then she says no, then be like, okay, no,
I think maybe he was like calculating the risk of like still just being stopped.
Also, why is she just agreeing to meet one-on-one with this guy?
Yeah.
When she knows there's a serial killer here and she's been prepped for that.
Yeah, that was a little strange.
But hold on, he was so good to everybody who got injured at the concert, which apparently was a lot of people.
Yeah,
a lot of people fainting.
People
going down left
lightheaded.
and right.
I did want to mention Kid Cudi has a little small appearance in this. Just kind of funny that he's just this angry. He just gets angry at his assistants.
Yeah,
adds nothing to the movie, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, then he goes home and
he's trying to go home, or trying to get to the car, and then she's like, well, you know what? Let's go to your house.
Yeah.
He's like, what the heck?
Yeah.
What the heck, Lady Raven?
And then they get there and
it's like, that's so Raven.
I mean, the whole scene where like she's at like before he's revealed himself to the family and everything, and she's there, it is pretty tense.
Yeah.
Because they don't really know what's going to happen. He's still just like acting so suspicious. It's still like consistent with the rest of the movie. Hilarious.
Yes.
But I really liked that. She locks herself in the bathroom.
Yeah, good phone swap there. A little hiding the daughter's phone. Oh, let me use yours. Just snags it and then...
And he starts acting like a crazy person.
How can he not get that door down?
Yeah.
That is ridiculous. Like, this man takes that heavy box off the top shelf like it's nothing. Mm-hmm. Gets literally tasered ridiculously, and after he's drugged and just powers through it, which is hilarious.
Yeah. Well, I do
not slowed down by the roofies at all.
You mentioned the box thing. That was hilarious when the guy's just like, "Oh, you're so strong," or whatever.
Wow, dude, you are strong.
But anyway, yeah, no,
he can't break like a simple you just kick the door. Like I feel like I could have broken that door down.
Yeah,
I did like the whole social media. Let's find the guy.
Yeah,
that's a nice.
Makes
that
sense
could
for her.
happen.
Yeah.
But man, like, how do you not break that door down?
Mm-hmm.
And then, so they all leave. He's kind of like snapping. And he's like, oh, good luck in your homework, la la la. And he just closed the garage door or whatever and sneaks out through his tunnel.
Yeah.
Nice little thing. Sure, he's got a tunnel.
And the fake out.
He's also a fireman. Mm-hmm. Firefighter. He couldn't break a door down.
Yeah,
that's what they do.
Good point.
That is what they do.
Hilarious.
I could fire him. You're fired, firefighter man. Can't even break down a simple bathroom door, which it was like the lock was turned to the side, which usually so it was like parallel to the ground, horizontal, which usually means something's unlocked, right? Because usually it's perpendicular to the ground.
Oh, maybe. I guess I didn't realize if that was
so
a
it's like almost.
thing.
So it almost looked like it was unlocked, but I think it was supposed to be locked.
Okay,
so just that's a nitpick. Okay. Bad prop design, I think, or whatever. But yeah, so oh my gosh, good thing Lady Raven's gotten away in her limousine, but just very clearly been swapped out with the driver. Hilarious. Nobody notices it. Get them out. Get the family out of here.
I did want to. I want to mention before I forget. So I saw this alone, and there were two people in front of me, like a little bit to the right. And the entire movie, they were like pointing at things. Like in the movie, they were like I think they were like pointing at like details they thought were important or something. And so they would just like point at things. And then like when they were getting in the limousine, they're like, "Oh, that's the guy. That's him."
A lot of them a couple other people in my theater, not very busy showing. I went to a matinee. Mm-hmm. They were just laughing, I think they enjoyed it. They were just like,
have to laugh.
Yes. But great little switch out there. And then, yes, I love how he gets out of the car. Like she has no idea he's driving. He gets out. He's like, "Hey, it's me," and then goes back to driving. Maybe she gets suspicious, I guess, when it's like, "Hey, this is not the way home." But presumably she's in a place she's not from.
Yeah.
If she's on tour. So we're just really funny. Really funny that he does it. And then she's like able to roll the window down. The fans surround her. Oh no, he's trapped again. Gets out again.
He gets out so many times. It's
I thought
hilarious.
that it was going to end at the house, then the limo, and then he goes back to the house, and turns out the wife set the trap, Holden.
Yes, that's the twist, I guess.
The character you met 10 minutes ago set the trap.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, how did they get this lead? Like, how did they know he was going to be here? Well, this seems all so convenient, but
I do feel like, and this is like a larger thing, but after like Knock at the Cabin 2, I get the sense that maybe he's wanting to emphasize the twists less.
Yeah.
Just because like both with this and that movie, neither of them are like, whoa, what the heck? What is happening? This changes my perspective on the movie or whatever. Instead here, it's just like, yeah, they're there. And especially in this movie, it like services the plot, I guess, but it's really just not that big of a deal.
No.
I almost kind of forgot there was a twist in this.
Yeah.
So,
and she also drugged the pie. Who could have believed it?
So
the thing
obvious.
they're eating.
I feel like if I had like a plot thing that bothered me like more than anything, it's probably that. Just because like, how would you not? That's so obvious. She's gonna.
But
drug
her pie is so good.
I guess.
Got to do it before that, cliche murder suicide. I love how he's just drugged and he just takes multiple tasers and still kills guys.
Yeah. I was fully expecting,
but he cannot kick down the bathroom door as a firefighter.
I was fully expecting the twist to be that at least the wife was in on it. That's where because like when they went back to the house, I was like, okay, I felt like at that point the movie could have been over soon, as you said. It felt like it was ending a few different times. I'm like, okay, maybe she doesn't get out of this because at least the wife is also in on this. But no, that didn't end up being the case.
But he's captured, but then he's got to pick up the bike because he's OCD. So they're going to let him do that, apparently, even though he's a multi-time serial killer murderer.
Yeah, you would never allow that.
And they don't frisk him or anything as he's going in. Nobody's sitting back there in the escort vehicle. And he uses the little bike wheel spoke, or whatever you want to call it, to pick his handcuffs. And he laughs maniacally and cut to black. Holden, there you go. You had Trap. Get the nice mid-credit scene with the worker.
The worker realizing
the arena. So there it is, Trap.
Hilarious. I thought the ending was great. I thought the ending with how it ended with him laughing, getting out of the handcuffs, that to me felt like M. Night kind of knew what he was going for here. I think that adds to it.
I'm not going to give him that much credit. I am not going to give him that much credit.
I'm not saying I think all of
it
was intentional.
So I don't know how seriously he's taking this movie.
I don't know. I'm not sure how much of it was intentional, but I think there was some of it that was. So
okay,
we'll see. Regardless, it either way worked for me as a work of
2
camp.
whole points better than Deadpool and Wolverine over there.
Yes, absolutely. I'm standing by that.
Do not think this is a better movie than Deadpool and Wolverine.
That's fair.